Okay, so I made one side of the fuselage, just cutting it out. I didn't do anything different because I did add 1/16 filler in the front because that nose section is going to hit the ground first or hit the wall first, and so I did that. And little nose weight's good because it'll probably need it. But everything else is as the kit. And now what I do is I'll pull out these pins, but basically I will fold the plastic wrap right over like this, and I will use this side as a template. So you have absolutely as accurate as you can, similar sides, or as identical as you can make them. So I don't pull this out and then build a whole new section. I use the actual wood as the template and lay wood over top. As long as the plastic wrap is there, they won't glue together, and that should make a real nice set of absolutely identical fuselage sides. The only other thing to remember is these longerons, which are the long pieces, make sure they're the same sort of flexibility, because you don't want your fuselage to sort of get all turned into a banana or something, and if they're of different flexibilities, that might happen. So we'll try to build the other one and we'll see how it does. Alright, so there's the other fuselage sides sandwiched right on top, although you can't really see it. Once this dries, I'll pull them apart, and I should have two identical fuselage sides. And then I'll start cutting out these pieces and start putting cross braces on there and turtle decks, and it'll start coming together and look like a fuselage. Okay, this turned out just great. Here are my two identical fuselage pieces. They look really good. And on the plan now is this piece that is what the fuselage looks like if you look at it from the top. So the tail stabilizer fits back here. There's the motor peg, and there are these little longerons that go in between these cross pieces. There's the exhaust on either side, and then here's the nose. So what I'm going to do basically is turn these upside down, put clear plastic wrap on the plan, and basically affix this thing vertically. And if you look on the plan, it looks like down to this longeron, it's straight, it's flat, and then it starts to curve in from this point in. So where those two little marks are on either side, this one and this one, I'll very, very gently hit that with a little bit of the X-Acto blade, and then that will bend and allow me to make the curve from this piece all the way back to the tail, hopefully without doing any kind of damage. On the plan, it's actually curved, a slight curve. On the one I do, it'll probably be just flat on either side, which doesn't bother me. No one will notice, and it'll be fine, and there'll be less chance of warping. That's okay with me. But I will set this up and maybe put some cross or make some right angle gauges or jigs that I can slide up on the edge here, and they'll come up vertically like this and be pinned down, and those will help me hold these longerons in exactly the vertical position here. And I'm going to do this upside down, so this is the top, and so since that's flat all the way across, it makes sense to turn this over and put these like this on the plan, and then just put the little longerons in the middle right here, the first few. So I guess it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all the same size. Cut them all exactly the same, and then slide them in and start gluing this thing together. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I started to put this together, and what I did was cut each of those little longerons out that go with the cross pieces, exactly the right distance between here and here, and then I glued the fuselage sides down. You see I pinned them and caught them just like I was doing before, and then the front end is lined up there and here, exactly supposedly where that is. It should be nice and straight and square. And then I also came back and checked with my square to make sure that these are flat and they're at right angles to one another. pretty dang close. A little bit of adjustment can be made when we do the other longerons, other cross pieces I mean, which will just fit in, for instance, like that, and right there, and right there. And then from here back, it'll be slightly bent back to the very end, but I'm going to let this dry, and then I will work on the rest of it tomorrow. Hooray, it's a good start. Okay, so after a night of thinking about it, well, of sleeping, I ended up putting these little the other little cross pieces in and putting them in, and it looks like this thing will actually come together pretty nice at the tip, at the end. I did make a couple very tiny relief cuts in these 4 little longerons, but I think I'm going to now put glue on the ends of these, glue on the end here, and actually bring this thing together, and it will follow the path of the drawing really, really well, and I think it will turn out just fine. So I'm going to glue those pieces in, let them dry, and then I'll start putting all of these things on. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue here and put it down into those spots where it's going to come in contact, and then a little on the end, right along where that's going to go, come together, and I should be able to just bring this baby right up against it and bring this side right up against it and slide them in place. I'm going to put a little clamp on the end of here. So I'll hold that in place and let it dry. I'll put a couple of pins here, but the longerons themselves are absolutely just taking the form of the plane. So whoever Lee was of Lee's Hobbies, that person knew what they were doing, because this is coming together really nicely and flat and good and strong. So that's perfect. And now I'll start putting in these cross pieces up here, at least the first few, and then these will go together down here. Once this is dried, the fuselage is well on its way to being completed. Well, the main box part. Talk to you soon. Okay, so everything's gone really, really well. I got the fuselage boxed in, and it's straight and true. I cut out the nose block, which goes on the very front, and this is really ingeniously done because the part that fits on here has this piece. This piece is cut out so that the other mating side is on here, and you cut that piece right out of this, and so you're sure of a perfect fit. And the grain on this is opposite to the grain of this piece, which makes it very, very strong. So this is all glued in place. And then in order to make it, to line these all up on the plan, you have these little places for the nose plug. And I just stuck a pin in there, and that allowed me to stick the hole in here, push these together. I clamped them, and this is a nice strong nose block now. And he'll fit right on there like that. And then I'll spend some time sanding and making this all look good. So this will all become a nice edge and everything. So that looks really, really good. Super pleased with that. And it's, again, very straight and true. It looks like it's ready to go. So the next thing I'll do is start working on the formers on the top. And what I'm going to do is stray from the plan a little bit to the cockpit. This is going to be 1/32 sheet wrapped around. And then the rear section is going to be stringers, 1/32 by 1/16 stringers to make the turtle deck. I think that looks better, and it looks more accurate, but I think it's prettier to see the stringers back there. The kit has a pattern for a piece of bond paper, which would work, but I think I want to do my stringers. So that means when I cut out these formers up here, I'm going to have to make them a 32nd of an inch smaller so that I can put the 32nd sheet on here and it will all match up appropriately. And I might have to cut a little piece out of here in order to have a lip to add that onto, but it's gonna work pretty well. So this is great. We got all these parts basically, ready to go.